for a young kid coming back to climate crisis, this moment of the fires, what do we say to the child? What are some of the things we can say to the child? What do
Yeah.
you want to say to young children who are hearing about this in the
Yes.
news, or maybe they're directly impacted by it? Like what do you say?
Yeah. On Monday, I'm leading a kind of a grief workshop at my school for families that were affected by the fires. And I've been thinking a lot about how I want to approach it. And right now, the first thing is you are safe. And the adults in your life are doing their absolute best to ensure that. And so you can trust the adults in your life to make sure that they're making decisions that are keeping you safe. Nowhere is there a guarantee that everything is going to be okay, but the interpersonal trust is really important in moments like this, of saying, I can rely on other people. I can rely on my parents. I can rely on my teachers. I can rely on my community at large to care for me and keep me safe. Um, I think those are things that I really needed to hear as a kid. Um, and those are things I really need to hear now, of like, there are people looking out for you, um, especially as the climate changes. So that's the first thing, is like, there are people working to keep you safe, which ties into Fred Rogers' very, very prolific statement of look for the helpers. And that kind of is like my manifesto also as an educator in terms of climate. Is he would say, when I would see scary things in the news, my mother would say, look for the helpers. You'll always find people that are helping. And when we think about climate change, this is an immensely important topic, of saying, who are the people trying to make this less bad? There are a lot of people making it worse, but who are the people trying to make this less bad?
Mhm.
Um, so, my coworker that went and helped people's houses, I'm really looking to him right now, because he's shown himself to be a leader in this moment. Firefighters, people who are running donation services, mutual aid networks. These are all people that jumped into action like moments after the blazes began, to be like, what do you need? How can we help you? And so we can focus on the narrative that everything is horrible and that there's nothing to be done. Or we can see the destruction, we can see the horror, we can see the pain, and we can look at the people that are helping, and looking at the people who are not just sitting in their house wringing their hands, but the people who are tangibly making this impact less horrible for real people. Another thing is control what you can control. For kids, that means like disaster preparedness, essentially. Um, like really saying, okay, let's look at our risk factors. Let's look at, like, if we have to evacuate sometime, from like, what natural disasters are we at risk for? And as the climate gets worse, it becomes less predictable, because we had a hurricane and an earthquake on the same day last year, and like, now the East Coast is on fire. So it's less predictable now as the climate is kind of breaking down. But taking a look at your risk factors in your area, being like, what are we at risk for? Are we at risk for a flood? Are we at risk for a fire? Are we at risk for an earthquake? Like, what could we need to evacuate from? And being prepared for that, of saying, okay, what trusted friend could we go to? Where are the local evacuation centers in our area? And then creating a go bag, which is important documents, medications, some food and water, some clothes, a really important stuffed animal if you need it. So controlling what you can control, and disaster preparedness. And then finally, becoming a helper is really important, because you can look for the helpers. But I think the most important thing for me in my journey of becoming a climate educator and becoming, a talking head, has been feeling like what I do matters. Like, one of the greatest prides of my life, or when I engage in activism and it works, like helping legislation get passed because I made a documentary. Oh my God. Helping kids cope because I made a TV show. Oh my God, the things I do matter. And I think kids, especially in this day and age, need to learn that the things they do matter in a positive way as much as in a negative way. So finding a mutual aid group and volunteering for it, finding a donation center and doing a fundraiser for it. Like, not only are there good people helping, you can be one too.
Mhm.
And that is such a beautiful thing. Um, and it connects you to other people. It connects you to your community who may help you when you're really struggling, who may be there for you during a disaster, who you can rely on. Because in this hyper individualistic world and in this world where we all, it's like every man for themselves, bootstraps yourself up to the American dream, we're so wary of community. We're so wary of, you know, all the things that bring us together, when really that's the thing that's going to save us, is togetherness. Um and so yeah, and also it's okay to feel freaked out. Just like I said to the adults, it's okay to feel freaked out for kids. And I think on Monday what I'm planning to do is to hold space for the grief and the horror and the fear, and then to talk about, well, first to say, you're safe, you're here, you're sitting in this room, like, congratulations, like, that's a beautiful thing to be alive and to be safe. But then say, it's really horrible what happened, how are you feeling about it, what do you miss, what is the thing that's scaring you about this, bringing light to the fear, bringing light to the darkness that we are so scared to talk about, and then centering in it, in what are we grateful for right now, what has been something that you've seen in the last couple of days that has made you feel hopeful or taken care of, or like, what did someone do to make you feel better or safer? Because for me, in the wake of this tragedy, the tears are not coming from as much, I mean, I am crying about how sad it is and horrible it is, but they're not coming as much from the destruction as they are from the response, because the community response to this fire has been unprecedented as the fire itself. Like, there has been just an amazing outpouring of support, of people just jumping into action and taking care of each other. And I'm devastated for my city, but I'm also like in love with my city more than I ever have been, because I've seen the capacity of people to care.
Mm.
And like, I feel proud, I feel relieved, I feel grateful, because we're helping each other. And in the original show that I created, which is on, the song is on YouTube, you can check it out. It's a song called Lift Together. And we wrote it not in the wake of any climate disaster, but just kind of about climate change in general. And the chorus goes, all around, I see people helping people put back the broken pieces. All around us are hands helping hands. It's so amazing how far love reaches. Nothing's too heavy if we lift together. When I look around, I feel so much better. And I've been thinking about on Monday teaching the kids the chorus of that to be like, we can see horror, but we can also see such great love.